What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you a little update on the Smogon tier changes for the month of August 2014. The usage stats for the previous month were just released, and we also had a suspect test that just ended as well. Actually, the suspect test ended a while ago, but the votes all came back, so now we have actually something to talk about. Just a couple of points that I want to touch on that will be affecting the various metagames that I showcase on the channel, in Wi-Fi battles and things of that nature. First up, and the big news, is that Aegislash is officially banned from OU. It is an Uber Pokemon now, something that I don't really agree with. I didn't ladder up, so I did not meet the qualifications to vote because I don't spend a lot of time on Showdown. I spend most of my time on Battle Spot and breeding my own Pokemon in-game as opposed to playing on Showdown. So I usually don't vote on these things. If I did vote, I would vote to not ban Aegislash, but it was an incredibly close vote. It could have went either way, and I think it was only banned by maybe 2 votes. Could have even been 1. I know it was very split down the middle, but like I said, I really think that Aegislash belongs in OU. I don't think it's on the same level as Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Lucario, Mega Gengar. These are threats that I feel belong up in Ubers, and Aegislash, it does force 50-50 situations a lot of times with the King Shield, and I understand that it has an ability to go mixed, it has, you know, special movesets, physical, it can do a whole bunch of different things, but I feel like that just is what an OU Pokemon does. It has a lot of versatility. If we're going to start talking about, you know, banning things based on just versatility and over-centralizing the meta, I feel like we're going to have to start suspecting a whole bunch of other things, including Talonflame and Rotom Wash and Greninja. But that's just my 2 cents. I don't really want to bash the Smogon players that voted to ban it because, you know, I could have had a say, but I don't play OU a lot. And I didn't, you know, meet the qualifications to get a say in the matter, so I guess I can't really complain. I'm just going to roll with the punches, so no more Aegislash. That is interesting, very interesting indeed. But all in all, there was reasonable arguments on both sides, so that's just what it comes down to. More people decided that they wanted in Ubers. Now, another thing that I think is actually more interesting, because I like the lower tiers better, is that Shiftry is finally moving out from the depths of NU, and it was just, its usage was so garbage last gen and into the beginning part of this gen that it was just, it was PU material. In fact, I may have even used it in a PU battle on the channel earlier on. I don't really know. But it is no longer NU, it is moving up to RU, and we want to talk about versatility. Shiftry can do so many different things. First of all, the set that I like to run is a physical set. It gets the Swords Dance, it's got Sucker Punch, you know, which is stab priority. You can give it Seed Bomb for some nice grass stab. It gets the knockoff, which is amazing this generation, plus stab for Shiftry. And that's just on the physical side. It also gets Nasty Plot, so you can run a decent special set as well. Both of these sets are nasty. Absolutely just filthy nasty with Chlorophyll and Sun Up. So if you want to take it to OU where Drought is not banned, because I think UU and below Drought is banned, you could use Manual Sun, I suppose, but with Drought, like Charizard Y, those kinds of things, Ninetales, Shiftry just becomes a ridiculous powerhouse. It's crazy. And this generation, well, not this generation, but Shiftry actually does get Defog, which got the buff this generation. That's what I was going for. It didn't really come out right. But he does have some utility other than just putting offensive pressure on your opponent's team. You can get rid of hazards, and that is kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal in any tier. Any singles metagame, you know, Stealth Rocks and Spikes are all over the place. So we get some utility other than just being fully offensive. So he's going up to RU. That's something to keep in mind. I need to keep reminding myself of that. Try to like drill that into my brain because I really want Shiftry to be NU. I don't know. Well, my brain does. My heart wants him to go up even further. I think he could excel in UU because I take Shiftry to OU all the time and it just wrecks shop. Such a good Pokemon. Now, as for the next suspect tests that are going to be coming up on Smogon, we have Mega Mawile is going to be the next OU suspect test after Aegislash. And I'm really hoping that people are going to decide not to ban that as well. I feel like Smogon is getting a little bit too ban happy, and it seems like the people that spend all the time laddering up to get to the top of the ladder so that they can qualify to vote in these suspect tests, it seems like anything that threatens the strategy that they like to use, they just want to get rid of it. And I really don't feel like that's a way to run a metagame. I know that a majority of the people still have to vote for it, but I don't know, things that threaten stall or whatever the popular strategy is at the time tends to be something that gets suspected and then eventually banned. I don't really agree with that, so I'm hoping that we realize that Mega Mawile is not too powerful for OU. It is a great wall breaker, it has a lot of power, it's got the priority in the Sucker Punch, all that stuff, and a great typing too, probably the best typing in the game with Fairy Steel, which is great. But it's not uber material. It's really, really good and really common, which is why it's in the overused tier. That's just my 2 cents, but I'm sure people have some other arguments as to why they would like to see Mega Mawile banned, and I'd be happy to hear those. I'm actually really interested to see what they have to say about that, as to why it doesn't belong in OU. I'm always curious, what the other side is. Then in Ubers, we have a Mega Gengar suspect test. Another thing that I'm not really agreeing with so much. I don't think we should be banning something from the ban list. I realized that Swagger was banned from Ubers. Swagger was banned from everything. We just got completely rid of Swagger, and I completely agree with that because I think Confusion is nonsensical as far as a competitive standpoint, or from a competitive standpoint, because it's reducing the game to coin flips. I don't really want to get into that here, but we're talking about Mega Gengar. Why would you ban that from Ubers? I don't really know. I understand that Shadow Tag, Destiny Bond, you trap your opponent and then you pretty much are guaranteed to kill it. That is something that you could look at banning, just those combinations, but it's Ubers, anything goes. I mean, it's a tier where you can just spam minimize toxic stalling shenanigans. And if you can do that, why can't you bring in Mega Gengar? I mean, it's a ban list, it's not a tier. So I don't necessarily agree with banning Mega Gengar from Ubers. I did agree with banning it from OU. I don't think it belongs there at all, regardless of its frailty, because of some of the reasons that I just mentioned. But that's where I stand on that. But these are just my opinions. There's obviously very valid opinions on the other side of the spectrum as well. And I just thought I would share these updates with you guys, so you know what's going on. And I'm curious, what do you guys think about these things that are coming up here? What do you think about the Aegislash ban? Were you in favor of it? Do you think that it does not belong in OU? Or are you upset that it's in Ubers? I'm a little bit upset because I kind of like using it, but I just don't because I don't play OU enough. And then what about Shiftry? How do you feel about Shiftry finally moving up to the big leagues and going up to RU? I mean, I personally think that's amazing, but let me know what you think about that. And then what I would really like to know is not so much... well, I don't know how to word this. I guess what I'm saying is, what is your opinion on the Mega Mawile and Mega Gengar suspect test? What do you think? Should they be banned from their respective metagames? Or should they stay right where they are? I told you where I stand, so I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say. That's pretty much it as far as the major updates. There was actually another little rumor going around. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw me tweet about it a few days ago. I was talking about Scald, the move Scald getting possibly suspected. That's something that's not actually happening right now. It's not a current suspect that's going on. They're talking about it, they're thinking about it. Some people really want it to happen, but I haven't seen any developments on it outside of that. So it's not a for sure thing. I'm really hoping it doesn't even get there. But to be fair, last gen they actually suspected Scald as well, and that didn't go anywhere. It was, pretty. It's a pretty solid vote that we want to keep Scald in the metagame. I don't feel like there's really any reason to ban it because I really don't think there is. Otherwise, then you have to look at moves like Lava Plume, which essentially do the exact same thing with the same chance of burning. So that's the thing. Anyway, that's going to be it for this time. Make sure you write a comment below letting me know what your opinion is on all these things, and I will see you all for the next video. But until then, game on.